Effective classroom management starts with relationship building. When students feel a greater sense of belonging, they are more likely to be academically engaged and demonstrate positive behavior. First, it is important to start on a positive note. When you are meeting with students for the first time, greet each student with a friendly hello and welcome. Take the opportunity to share a little bit about yourself and get to know your students' interests. Continue to greet your students each day as they log into class. You can ask them about how their day has been so far. If they had a good night, and if they had a good weekend, or if they have plans for the weekend coming up. You can also take this time to make quick connections with your students. Make sure that you are taking the time during the first week of school to really build those relationships with your students. Once you've made the initial connection with your student, make sure to maintain your relationship with them. Make sure your interactions with the students are more positive than they are negative. You want your positive interactions with the students to far outweigh your negative interactions with them. It is very hard to build a relationship with a student if every time you interact with them, it is a negative interaction. Aim for at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction that you have with the student. This means that if you have to correct the student, circle back to the students and have a positive interaction with them after you have had to correct their behavior. Positive narration is a quick and easy way to acknowledge good behavior. If at any time during the week or after the first week, you realize a student looks sad or is just not being themselves, you can take the time to put them in a breakout room and speak to them individually. If you have a student who seems to constantly be a disruption in class or is exhibiting negative behaviors, take the time to reach out to do an individual check with them using breakout rooms to see if you can get to the root of the behavior, repairing harm. This refers to how you handle situations that will inevitably arise with challenging students. Start each day off with a clean slate. Take the time for self-reflection. How did your reaction to the student's behavior impact the way the situation unfolded? Could you have addressed the behavior in a different way that maybe would have resulted in a different outcome? Show empathy to your students. We are all human beings that deal with a ton of factors outside of the classroom that impact our behavior inside of the classroom. If your conversations with the students become strained, be sure that you are solutions oriented. There is no need to continually bring up or harp on the past. Focus on what the student can do this time to make a better decision. And lastly, separate the behavior from the student. Just because the student made a poor choice does not mean that they are a bad person.